Okay, it is time that we all get to quilting on this wonderful quilt back here. Now, this was my modified version of Charisma Horton's pattern called Destinations. Check out my other YouTube video I did on it. And I put this on the frame, and of course, I love the way it looks over here. Doesn't the set look beautiful, right? This is the other side. Fantastic, terrific. But I have to confess, I haven't done much quilting on this, not only because I'm nervous about the quilting of it, but I'm also nervous, how do I capture it? How do I make sure that you can see what I'm seeing? Because I've seen and read a lot of your comments and a lot of the machine quilting videos, they're really hard to film. So today, I think I've got just the solution. Let's get started. This isn't gonna work. Back to the drawing board. That's right, check it out. I rigged up a chest holder for my old iPhone that we usually use over at the needle. I'm hoping you'll be able to see better what I'm doing today on my wonderful Juki J350. I absolutely love this machine, but please note, I am not teaching free motion machine quilting on this awesome long arm. I'm no good at it, I'm just learning. So if you've seen some of my other videos, long arming is brand new to me. And I'm actually standing like this so you won't see, I don't even have it loaded perfectly straight. And what I started doing with this quilt, and part of the reason, like I said, I didn't start filming before was because I didn't think I had a good camera angle. But the truth of the matter was, is I really didn't know what to do with on the quilt. And I so often overcomplicate projects. So the thing I want to teach us all today, starting with myself, is hey, let's stop overcomplicating everything that we do if you're like me. So on this quilt, I started making up all of these rules, all of these things, all of these barricades and barriers for my mind, so the free motion quilting became much more challenging. So today I'm just going to spend a few moments. I've done about half of the quilt now. I've gotten through that first challenge, that first hurdle, and I did that by simply stating or restating the rules. Originally, I wanted to do this incredible like medallion work because it's a very symmetrical quilt. This is the exact center of the quilt right now, and I wanted all of this gorgeous free motion work like some of my friends are doing out there. So like Angela Walters and Christina Camelli and Carly Porter, those three young ladies are incredible, and they're all fantastic long arm quilting and domestic quilting free motion teachers. So please check out all of their videos. They all have YouTube channels. They're doing fantastic. Let's learn, all of us learn from them the skills that we need for the actual equipment. But for today, we're talking about getting over being afraid. And for me, I just had to turn on the cameras because now that I know you're all watching, I can't just goof off much longer. So what I did is I restructured my theory. So instead of trying to make this perfectly symmetrical thing where everything matched up side to side and all these things, because I wasn't using any marking, I changed the rules. That's all we do. We just changed the rules. So the new rules are, please don't sew on the lightest green fabric and please don't sew on the black. Now I'm using the center medallion space here so that I can go through and do some other things and work around it. Hopefully we can see here. You can see this is just some of the fun free motion work. And all I'm trying to do now is I'm just trying to go so that basically I'm not stitching in any of this color fabric, and there's going to be several of these squares as we go down. Now, like I said, this is the center strip, and I've been free motioning enough now that I feel confident that you can watch me. I already have the needle thread and the bobbin thread connected over here. I'm in a needle down mode. So now I'm just going to keep working and detailing this space in here as I go, and then keeping in mind that where the white and the black fabric are, I'll sew in the white, but I won't sew on the black. I've been using a color that matches nicely, so it's going to be a little bit harder for you to see, and that's one of our challenges here. Am I just going to keep adjusting my camera? Sorry, this, like I said, this is not going to be the most professional of all of my videos. But now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the freedom of the design I've already been working with to just keep filling in this space with the basic motifs. And those motifs are things that I've practiced before, whether I'm seated or I've been practicing here on the machine in the long arm format. Now by doing this, I'm just going to do big areas and then cause myself spots that I can come back in here and fill. And that holds the fabric down a little bit better And that causes my lofty areas to be even more lofty. So now I'm just going to play with the design. A couple of the things I've learned with this machine, because it runs so fast and it has the laser encoders for stitch regulation, is I'm actually feeling more confident as I slow the machine down instead of trying to go so fast. Now, it doesn't work with my normal caffeinated Spirit because I want to go flying through the machine quilting process because that's what I used to do. So part of getting over fears is changing the way we think, changing the things we allow ourselves to be afraid of, or changing the rules so we don't have to be playing within those same constraints. You can see those cool red lights below the fabric. That's the lasers working underneath there, so there's no wheels on this frame. And that means I'm less likely to get little hiccups and bubbles and I shouldn't say bubbles, hiccups and bumps and all that in my stitch regulation. Okay, now let's stop for a moment and just kind of talk about what's going through my head. It's very hard for me to talk and machine quilt, even with all this fantastic technology like the stitch regulation and whatnot. So because I know I'm in the center of the project, I'm just trying to radiate out kind of a fluid-free motion, and that's what I didn't explain earlier at the beginning of the video. For me, I'm so much more comfortable just kind of doodling on the quilt instead of trying to make sure that what I did in this space here matches what I'm going to do in this space right here. That's how I started the quilt out. I was trying to make sure that everything that happened across the top row was completely symmetrical from the right side to the left side, and it was driving me bonkers because I'm just not that proficient yet with the long arm. That's one of the things I did find, and a lot of you have been asking me what I think of the machine. Well, I think the machine's incredible. I've had zero problems with it, like I've said. No thread breaks, no needle problems, no nothing. Bobbin's been running great. I just love it, love it, love it. But now for me, it's a whole new motion. So some of my friends have been talking to me about having like one good guide arm, and a lot of times the other hand is just kind of floating across the fabric. So I'm learning to not oversteer or overdrive the machine. So back to what I was saying a moment ago, by having the machine going slower, it seems to run so much nicer that way. But I can see you smiling along inside of the camera here. So let's do a little more quilting so you can watch in the new awesome iPhone holder here on the chest mount. Yeah, nothing like building tools for our own work, right? Love it. Okay, here we go. We're gonna get going again. Just filling in. Now I've been doing some small little fill-in work. So let's do a big swoop heading towards that other barrier, that other mental block I've given myself of the lighter green Cotton Couture. So then I'll come back in now again and just do that smaller fill work. Even using that seam allowance to change direction and everything I need there. So you can see there's nothing fancy about the quilting. It's just really basic line work, really basic swoops and fills. But when it all comes together and it's all finished off, it certainly can have a neat effect. Remembering that every time you come back on your thread, it heavies up the thread or it darkens in your color. Oops. And I was so busy watching to the camera, I just broke my own rules. Look at that. I just stitched in the area I wasn't supposed to. Well, that ain't coming out, kids, so we're just going to leave it. I'm so embarrassed. Well, if you didn't know it before, ladies and gentlemen, Rob Appell is apparently a rule breaker. I can't believe I did that. I was so focused on trying to make sure I had a camera angle, I stitched into the wrong color. Silly, silly, silly. Well, I tell you what, I better get back to what I was trying to do and finish out this quilt. I just want to say thank you to all of you for, of course, being subscribed to Making It Fun here by Michael Miller and me, Rob Appell. But not only that, thank you for encouraging me. Thank you for getting me over my fear today and making me get this quilt done. I promise to show you here in just a moment the whole quilt with all of its quilting and its binding so you can enjoy and celebrate and know that we did this, we did it together. And just remember, folks, whenever you're faced with a challenge, try to redirect your fear, try to think about what is it you're really afraid of, and see if you can't change or break those rules to make it a little easier on yourself. Remember, we're just making quilts. I love you all. I'll see you real soon. Here's that picture of the finished quilt.